Time is something we all have the same amount of, yet how we use it makes all the difference. Successful people don't just work harder, they manage their time in a way that helps them stay focused, reduce stress, and make steady progress every day. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your to-do list or wished there were more hours in a day, this is for you. In this script, you'll discover practical steps that will help you take control of your schedule. You'll learn how to plan your day with clear intentions, protect your mental space from distractions, and set boundaries that keep your energy strong. These aren't complicated tricks or quick fixes. They are real habits that successful people use every day to grow, stay motivated, and achieve their goals. Imagine waking up feeling calm because you know exactly what to do and when to do it. Picture finishing your day, knowing you've made progress on what truly matters. This is about more than just getting things done. It's about living with purpose and confidence. Stick around and you'll find out how to build routines that support your dreams, make time for learning, and even how to say no without guilt. These ideas will help you move from feeling rushed and scattered to feeling in control and focused. If you're ready to stop reacting to life and start directing it, this guide will show you how. Managing your time well is not just about being busy, it's about making your life better every single day. Chapter 1. Wake up early and own your quiet morning. Waking up early is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you've always had the potential to be. There is a quiet power in the early hours that most people never touch. That silence before the world wakes up is not just a break from the noise, it's an open doorway. It's a time when distractions are still asleep, the demands of others have yet to rise, and the outside world has not yet begun to pull at your attention. In those quiet moments, you are free to think, free to build, free to prepare, and free to direct your life before anyone else has the chance to. This is the time successful people don't waste. The decision to wake up early is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Not because it's trendy, not because it makes you seem productive, but because it gives you something far more valuable than time. It gives you clarity. When you rise early, you rise with intention. You set the tone before anything else does. You are not reacting to the world, you are shaping it. Most people start their day already behind. They hit snooze, scroll through their phone, rush to get ready, and begin their day already anxious and unfocused. But successful people live differently. They take back control of the first hour because they know that how you start your day defines how you live your life. When you wake up early and own your mornings, you reclaim your mental space. You don't wake up into chaos. You wake up into calm. You wake up into purpose. That first hour is not about being busy. It's about being deliberate. It's about using that sacred time to anchor yourself before the world tries to unbalance you. It's the hour where your mind is clearest, your body is fresh, and your soul is most open to reflection and growth. It is in these moments that the most meaningful decisions are made, the best ideas emerge, and the strongest intentions are set. There's a reason many of the world's top performers start their days early. They understand that discipline is freedom. That discipline over your mornings is discipline over your thoughts. And discipline over your thoughts is discipline over your life. Waking up early is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most, without interruption. It's not just a habit, it's a mindset. It's a signal to yourself that you are in charge of your time, not the other way around. But it doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice. You choose to sleep earlier. You choose to leave the phone outside the bedroom. You choose to get up even when you don't feel like it. You choose to give yourself the gift of a calm and intentional start, and that choice, made every day, compounds into a life of greater clarity, peace, and achievement. In the quiet of the morning, you can do what others won't. You can reflect without distraction. You can write without interruption. You can read something that expands your thinking. You can exercise your body and feel alive. You can sit in silence and listen to your own mind. You can review your goals and remind yourself of what truly matters. These small practices, done consistently, are not small at all. They are the foundation of a centered life. They allow you to build momentum before anyone else even begins, and when the rest of the world finally wakes up, you're already ready. Not rushed, not reactive, but composed and focused. Your mind is already organized. Your heart is already steady. You are not catching up. You are leading. That's the difference between someone who owns their mornings and someone who simply survives them. The one who owns their morning owns their mindset. They walk into the day with awareness, direction, and energy. It's easy to underestimate how much power lives in the first hour of your day. But the truth is that 1 hour shapes the next 23. It doesn't matter whether you're a student, a business owner, an employee, or an artist. The morning gives you a head start, not only in time but in clarity. And clarity is what drives meaningful work. You can't perform at your best if you're mentally scattered. You can't be truly productive if you're emotionally drained. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. That's why successful people don't start their day by consuming. They start their day by creating. They don't open social media first. They open their journal. They don't respond to emails first. They respond to their goals. They don't ask what others want from them. They ask what they want from themselves. It's not about being perfect every morning. There will be days when it feels harder than others. But those are the days that matter most. Because discipline is built in discomfort. Growth happens in consistency, not convenience. The early hours teach you to lead yourself, even when you don't feel like it. And the more you train that muscle, the more unshakable your focus becomes. This practice also reveals the truth about time. Most people think they don't have enough time, but that's rarely true. What they really lack is direction. They don't know where their time is going, because they've never stopped to take control of it. Waking up early forces you to decide what matters. You begin the day with the question, what do I want to create today? Not what do I have to do? That subtle shift is life-changing. It puts you back in the driver's seat. And when you begin to live that way, you don't just manage time, you master it. You stop wasting it on what doesn't align with who you're becoming. You stop giving it away to things that drain you. You stop thinking in hours and start thinking in outcomes. You realize that one focused hour is more powerful than 10 scattered ones. And the most focused hour of all is that first hour of your day. There is nothing glamorous about waking up early. It's not flashy. It doesn't make headlines, but it is the unseen habit behind so many visible successes. It's what allows people to make strategic decisions while others are overwhelmed. It's what allows them to stay calm in the face of pressure. It's what gives them time to think, to learn, and to act before the noise begins. And in a world full of noise, silence is a superpower. You don't need to be a morning person to begin. You just need to be a person with purpose. You don't need to start at 4 a.m. You just need to start earlier than you do now. Even 30 minutes can make a difference. 30 minutes of quiet, 30 minutes of planning, 30 minutes of personal growth. That's not a routine, it's a reset. It's a way to reconnect with your direction before the demands of life distract you from it. If you want to build a better life, start with your mornings. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation fades, but systems stay. Create a system that supports your best self. Wake up, drink water, stretch, sit in silence, write your goals, plan your top 3 tasks, and breathe. That alone can change your entire life if done consistently. And the key is to make it your own. Your morning doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just has to give you clarity, energy, and focus. That's the only measure of success. When you learn to own your mornings, you start to feel different. Not just in the way you move, but in the way you think. You stop feeling overwhelmed because you've already centered yourself. You stop reacting to everything because you've already chosen your direction. You stop living passively because you've already declared your purpose for the day. That's the quiet power of waking up early. It doesn't scream, it doesn't demand attention, but it changes everything. The world will always try to steal your focus. Notifications, messages, opinions, demands, they never stop, but your early mornings are the one part of the day you can protect. They are yours and yours alone. Use them well, and the rest of your day will follow. Waste them, and you'll spend the rest of the day chasing clarity you could have already had. Success doesn't happen overnight. It happens every morning. In those small, consistent choices that no one sees. In those quiet hours when you choose discipline over comfort. In those first moments of the day when you choose to lead yourself before the world pulls you in every direction. That's where real change begins. Not in dramatic events, but in the simple act of waking up with purpose. This is how successful people manage their time. Not through hacks, not through shortcuts, but through self-mastery. Through the commitment to own their first hour every day. It's a quiet ritual with massive impact, and anyone can begin. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to get up today and take that first hour back. The rest of your life will thank you for it. Chapter 2. Plan each day with clear, focused intention. Every day begins with a choice. Either you direct it with intention, or you let it drift. You can either take control of your time, or you let it be claimed by everything and everyone else. Successful people understand this deeply. They know that a productive day doesn't happen by luck. It happens by design. Planning your day with clear, focused intention is not just about writing a to-do list. It's about aligning your time with your values, your goals, and your highest priorities. It's about making sure your actions reflect your vision, not your mood or distractions. When you start your day without a plan, you are walking into uncertainty without a compass. You wake up and immediately become reactive. You respond to messages, deal with tasks that pop up, and handle whatever comes your way. But none of it is guided, none of it is deliberate. You might stay busy all day and still feel like you accomplished nothing that truly matters. That's the trap most people fall into, mistaking motion for progress. They spend their time doing, but they never stop to ask if what they're doing is meaningful. Successful people don't allow their days to slip by like that. They treat their time with seriousness. They treat each day like a chance to make progress in a direction they've chosen ahead of time. To plan your day with clear, focused intention, the first step is to get honest about what matters most. You must be willing to cut through the noise of urgency and focus on what moves your life forward. That begins with clarity. What are you working toward? What does progress look like today? What is essential and what is just noise? If you don't define that clearly, others will define it for you. The world is full of demands and distractions. There is always something to react to. But when you're clear on what you want to accomplish, it becomes easier to say no to the things that don't belong in your day. One of the most powerful practices is setting your top 3 priorities before the day begins. This is not about listing everything you hope to get done. This is about deciding what few things, if completed, would make the day feel like a win. It might be a difficult conversation you need to have. It might be 2 hours of deep work on a meaningful project. It might be showing up fully for your family in the evening without your phone. Whatever they are, choose them with purpose. Choose them based on what will create lasting impact, not what feels urgent in the moment. And once you choose, commit. Don't keep renegotiating with yourself throughout the day. Follow through. Discipline is built on that follow through. A focused plan also requires a structure. It's not enough to write tasks. You need to schedule time for them. Give each task a place in your day. If you don't block time for your priorities, they'll get pushed aside by whatever is easiest or loudest. Time blocking is not rigid. It's freeing. It lets you protect space for what matters most. It helps you avoid decision fatigue and the stress of not knowing what to do next. You look at your plan and you act. That kind of clarity removes hesitation. It removes overwhelm. You're no longer choosing between a dozen competing tasks. You're doing exactly what you intended to do at that hour. That's what gives your day rhythm and flow. But even the best plan will be tested. Interruptions will happen. Emotions will shift. Things will take longer than expected. This is why intention must be paired with adaptability. Successful people don't abandon their plans when things go wrong. They adjust. They ask themselves, what's the most important thing I can do right now given what's changed? That kind of flexibility keeps you grounded. You're not thrown off by every change. You're able to pause, recalibrate, and keep moving forward. It's not about having a perfect day. It's about returning to your priorities as often as needed. Planning your day with intention also includes how you begin and end it. Mornings are the foundation. That's when you decide your focus. But evenings are your compass. That's when you review how you lived. Did your actions match your intentions? Did you protect your time or give it away without thinking? Did you move forward or simply stay busy? Reflecting on those questions at the end of the day helps you improve the next one. Without reflection, you can't grow. You keep repeating the same patterns, but with even a few quiet minutes at night, you gain insight. You see what worked, what didn't, and what needs to change. That's how daily planning becomes a long-term transformation. Another essential part of focused planning is knowing your energy patterns. Not every hour of the day is equal. You're not at your best all the time. There are hours when your mind is sharp and hours when it's not. Successful people plan their hardest work when they have the most energy. They don't waste their peak mental hours on emails or meetings. They protect those hours for deep work, for thinking, for problem solving. When you match your most important tasks to your strongest hours, your productivity multiplies. You're not working more. You're working smarter. Intention also means planning space for rest. A focused day is not a packed day. Filling every hour does not make you more effective. You need space to breathe, to think, to step back. Short breaks between tasks help you reset. They prevent mental fatigue. And at the end of the day, you need time to disconnect, to be present with the people you love, to enjoy your life, not just run through it. Without rest, even the best plan becomes a burden. You lose clarity. You lose energy. You burn out. That's why a truly intentional plan always includes renewal. It includes space to recover, to reflect, to enjoy the process of living. When you live this way, planning your day becomes more than a habit. It becomes a form of self-respect. You stop giving your time to things that don't deserve it. You stop saying yes to distractions just to feel busy. You stop waking up without direction and ending the day feeling like you drifted. Instead, you start each morning with clarity. You carry that clarity into your decisions. You use your time with care, and you finish the day knowing you gave your best to what matters most. This is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's consistency. It's planning each day with the focus to move forward, even a little, even when things aren't perfect. That's how you build momentum. That's how you gain confidence. You prove to yourself that you can choose how you live. You don't wait for the right time. You make the time. You don't hope for progress. You plan for it. And you follow through, one day at a time. You don't need a complex system to start. You don't need a perfect journal or the newest productivity app. All you need is a quiet moment each morning, a pen and a piece of paper. Write your top priorities. Block your time. Protect your focus. Leave room to breathe. Reflect at night. Adjust tomorrow. Repeat. That's it. That's where real progress lives. Not in dramatic breakthroughs, but in the daily act of choosing what matters and making sure it happens. When you plan your day with intention, you are no longer just reacting to life. You are creating it. You are choosing direction over distraction. You are aligning your time with your values. You are building a future with every decision you make today. That's not just a better way to live. It's the only way to live if you want to grow, to lead, and to succeed with clarity, purpose, and peace. Chapter 3. Eliminate distractions and protect your mental space. Focus is your greatest strength in a world that constantly pulls your attention in every direction. Distractions are not just inconvenient interruptions. They are the slow drain of your clarity, your time, and your ability to create meaningful progress. Every time your attention is broken, you don't just lose a moment, you lose your rhythm. You lose the connection to what you were building, what you were thinking, and what you were trying to become. The most successful people understand that focus is not something you're born with. It's something you protect. It's something you train, and it begins by removing what doesn't belong in your mental space. Distractions are everywhere. They come in the form of notifications, background noise, unnecessary conversations, multitasking, and even your own wandering thoughts. They disguise themselves as small things, things that seem harmless in the moment, but over time, they build up. They fracture your attention. They create stress. They make simple tasks take longer. They leave you feeling scattered, even after a full day of activity. This is why the decision to eliminate distractions is not just about productivity. It's about protecting your peace. It's about preserving your energy for what matters. You cannot do deep work when your mind is shallow. You cannot think clearly when you're being interrupted every few minutes. And you cannot live with purpose when your attention is controlled by everything around you. So the first step to reclaiming your mental space is to become aware of what's stealing it. Pay attention to the small things that interrupt your concentration. Notice how often you check your phone, how frequently you jump between tasks, how easily you let noise creep into your thoughts. Awareness is the starting point. Without it, you can't change what's happening. But once you see the patterns, you can begin to take control. Start by creating a physical environment that supports your focus. Your space shapes your mind more than you realize. If your surroundings are messy, your thinking becomes scattered. If your desk is full of distractions, your work becomes fragmented. Create a space that feels calm, clear, and focused. Keep only what you need. Remove what pulls your attention. Make it easy to stay on task by designing a space where distractions don't live. Next, take control of your digital world. The devices we use are powerful tools, but only when we're in charge of them. If you leave your phone within reach and allow every message, alert and sound to interrupt you, you are giving away your mental clarity by choice. Turn off non-essential notifications. Keep your phone in another room when working. Use apps only when they serve your goals, not when they serve your urge to escape. The more intentional you are with your technology, the more powerful it becomes. Not as a source of noise, but as a tool for growth. You also need to master the discipline of single tasking. Doing one thing with full attention is becoming rare, but it is one of the most valuable skills you can build. When you give one task your full focus, you finish faster, with better quality, and with less stress. Multitasking feels productive, but it's an illusion. It splits your focus and makes your thinking shallow. You end up doing several things poorly instead of one thing well. Make the commitment to do one thing at a time. Whether it's writing, listening, learning, or solving a problem, give it your full mind. Let everything else wait. Mental space is not just about what you avoid. It's also about what you choose to allow in. The people you talk to, the content you consume, and the thoughts you entertain all shape the quality of your mind. Surround yourself with those who encourage growth. Limit your time with those who bring confusion or drama. Choose to listen to ideas that build you, not break your focus. Be intentional about what enters your mind. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every thought is helpful. Learn to filter. Learn to protect your energy. That is how you stay grounded in a world full of noise. Another powerful practice is creating time blocks for deep focus. Set aside time each day where you eliminate every possible distraction. No phone, no messages, no unnecessary tabs open, just you and your most important task. This is where the real breakthroughs happen. This is where you build momentum. When your mind is allowed to dive deep into a single challenge or idea, it begins to produce work that reflects your full potential. Without distraction, you don't just move faster, you move with clarity, you make better decisions. You feel more in control. You access your best thinking. But deep focus doesn't happen by accident. You must guard it. You must treat it as sacred. You must train yourself to resist the urge to check, to switch, to escape. It's uncomfortable at first. You'll feel restless. Your mind will want to wander. But if you stay with it, if you train that mental muscle, it gets easier. You begin to enjoy the quiet. You begin to crave the clarity. And you begin to see how much more powerful your mind is when it's fully engaged. Distractions don't just come from the outside, they also come from within. Doubts, regrets, anxieties, overthinking. These internal distractions can be just as disruptive as any notification. To protect your mental space, you must also practice emotional discipline. You must learn to observe your thoughts without getting lost in them. You must choose to focus on what you can control instead of what you fear. This takes daily practice. It takes reflection. It takes self-awareness. But the more you practice, the more stable your mind becomes. You learn to let go of what doesn't serve you. You learn to return your focus to what does. The greatest advantage you can give yourself in life is a clear and focused mind. When others are overwhelmed, you remain composed. When others are scattered, you remain steady. This clarity gives you power. Power to create. Power to lead. Power to build the life you want. But you can only access that power if you protect it. Every time you say no to a distraction, you are saying yes to your growth. Every time you choose focus over noise, you are choosing yourself over the demands of the world. This way of living doesn't require perfection. You will still get distracted. You will still have moments when your focus slips. That's normal. The goal is not to eliminate all interruptions. The goal is to train your mind to return to focus quickly. to recognize when you've drifted and gently come back. That ability is what sets successful people apart. Not flawless discipline, but consistent awareness and recovery. You can build this into your routine. Begin each day by identifying what matters most. Create a space where you can focus without interruption. Silence what doesn't need your attention. Set time for deep work. Take short breaks to reset your mind. Reflect on your thoughts without judgment. End the day with quiet. These simple habits, done daily, will transform your ability to focus. They will sharpen your mind. They will make your work more meaningful. And they will give you a sense of control that few people ever experience. Your time is valuable, but your attention is priceless. Guard it, train it, protect it from anything that weakens it. Because your ability to focus determines what kind of work you can produce, what kind of relationships you can build, and what kind of life you can create. Distractions may be common, but they are not mandatory. You have the power to choose where your mind goes. You have the power to clear the noise. You have the power to take back your mental space and make it a place where clarity, creativity, and purpose can thrive. That is the real path to progress. That is how successful people manage their time and protect their minds from everything that tries to waste it. Chapter 4. Prioritize what truly moves your life forward. Most people stay busy but make very little progress. They move through each day, checking boxes, answering messages, completing tasks, and following routines. But despite all the activity, they feel stuck. They feel like time is slipping through their fingers while the things that actually matter remain untouched. The reason is simple. They are not prioritizing what moves their life forward. They are managing tasks, not direction. They are staying active, not effective. Successful people think differently. They don't try to do everything. They focus on what matters most. They understand that every hour spent on the wrong thing is an hour stolen from their future. That's why they work with intention, not just effort. If you want to build a meaningful life, you have to become ruthless with your attention. You have to separate the important from the urgent, the essential from the easy, the valuable from the distracting. This begins with clarity. You have to know what you're truly working toward, not just vague desires or random goals, but deep personal priorities. What are the things that, if achieved consistently, would transform your life in 5 years? What are the actions that align with your values, your potential, and your long-term vision? Until you define that clearly, your time will always be claimed by things that don't matter. Every day, life offers you 100 choices. What to work on, who to talk to, what to consume, where to go, how to think. If you don't decide your direction ahead of time, you'll fall into everyone else's. You'll answer every request, respond to every message, agree to every plan, and soon your time is no longer your own. To prioritize what moves your life forward, you have to become comfortable with difficult decisions. You have to be willing to say no more often. You have to stop trying to please everyone. You have to give up things that seem nice but lead nowhere. This is the price of a focused life. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Real progress requires focus, and focus requires sacrifice. You cannot chase every idea, follow every trend, or respond to every demand and still expect to move forward. The more you say yes to what's urgent, the more you say no to what's important. The more you say yes to what's comfortable, the more you say no to what's necessary. Every decision has a cost. The question is not, can I do this, but should I do this now, or should I protect my energy for something greater? When you start measuring your day by impact instead of activity, everything changes. You stop counting how many things you did, and start asking if what you did mattered. This is how high performers think. They don't ask, what's next on the list? They ask, What action will move me forward? They understand that progress is not about checking off tasks. It's about working on what builds, what grows, what evolves. Not everything that feels urgent creates change. Not everything that demands your time deserves it. To begin living this way, identify your key priorities, not your entire list, just the few actions that lead directly to your personal growth, your financial freedom, your physical health, your emotional peace, or your long-term mission. These are the pillars that hold up everything else, and they are often not the loudest things in your day. They don't send notifications, they don't knock on your door, but if you ignore them, you feel it. You feel stuck, restless, unclear. That's the cost of ignoring what matters. The absence of progress slowly eats away at your confidence, and you start questioning your ability. Once you identify what matters most, the next step is to give it your best time. Don't leave it for the end of the day. Don't fit it in between distractions. Make space for it. Put it at the front of your schedule. This is a signal to yourself that your priorities matter more than your habits. Most people plan their day around everything else and try to fit their goals in afterward. That never works. The day fills up and the important things get pushed aside. But when you start with the meaningful work, you gain momentum, you build confidence, you protect your direction. You also have to be honest about what drains you. What activities, habits, or people consistently steal your focus and offer nothing in return? What responsibilities keep you busy but leave you feeling empty? Sometimes the hardest part of prioritizing is letting go of things that once felt important. But if they no longer serve your purpose, they must be released. You are not obligated to carry old goals forever. You are not required to hold on to everything that once felt useful. Growth demands that you reassess, that you let go of what no longer aligns, that you make space for what your life is truly asking for now. A strong life is built on strong priorities, but that strength doesn't come from stubbornness. It comes from regular reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I move forward today? Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Did your actions support your future? Did you use your time to build something real? Or did you spend it surviving the noise? These questions asked daily will reshape how you think. They will sharpen your awareness. They will help you course correct before days turn into weeks, and weeks into years of lost progress. You must also recognize that what moves your life forward won't always be exciting. It's not always creative. It's not always public. Sometimes it's quiet discipline. It's saying no to something tempting. It's sitting in discomfort. It's choosing to finish what you started. It's making that difficult call. It's going to the gym when you're tired. It's reviewing your goals when you're discouraged. Real progress is rarely loud. It's built in the background, and those who rise are the ones who stay consistent with the small, deliberate steps that others ignore. The goal is not to fill every minute. The goal is to fill the right minutes with meaningful effort. Life will always present you with more than you can handle. There will always be another task, another opportunity, another distraction. But your power lies in your ability to choose. Not just once, but every day. To choose what builds over what entertains. To choose what challenges you over what comforts you. To choose the hard path of growth over the easy path of stagnation. You don't need to be perfect to live this way. You just need to be honest with yourself. You need to pay attention to how you spend your time and how it makes you feel. You need to stop waiting for the perfect conditions to start prioritizing. The moment is now. Not when things slow down. Not when you feel more motivated. Now. Today is a chance to choose better, to clear out the clutter, to say no with confidence, to align your actions with your vision. And that choice, repeated every day, is how you build a life that reflects your true potential. You are not overwhelmed because you have too much to do. You are overwhelmed because you are trying to do too much that doesn't matter. When you stop chasing every task and start focusing on the right ones, your energy changes, your mind clears, your direction sharpens, and suddenly progress feels possible again, not through hustle, but through alignment. That's the true secret of success. Not working harder, but working on what counts. If you want to live with meaning, you cannot treat everything the same. You must be willing to make hard decisions, to filter your efforts, to protect your time with intention. This is how leaders rise. This is how builders create. This is how individuals take ownership of their lives and shape something they can be proud of. Not by doing more, but by choosing better, by prioritizing what truly moves them forward and letting the rest fall away. Chapter 5. Use time blocks to master your daily focus. The way you use your time determines the results you get, not just in a day, but in a lifetime. Every hour has weight, and how you spend it either brings you closer to what matters or pulls you further away. Many people live by reaction. They let their time get stolen in small moments by interruptions, indecision, and disorganization. But successful people take full control of their day by using one of the most powerful tools available, time blocking. This simple approach turns vague intentions into structured action. It removes the guesswork, reduces stress, and builds a deep level of clarity. It doesn't require perfection, just commitment to focus. When you learn to block your time, you're no longer hoping for productivity, you're scheduling it. You're creating boundaries in your day that protect your energy and direct your attention exactly where it's needed. Time blocking is more than filling a calendar. It's about choosing your priorities in advance and giving them a fixed space where they can thrive without interference. Instead of leaving your important work to chance, you define a clear start and end time for every task that matters. Whether it's writing, thinking, problem-solving, exercising, learning, or resting, each part of your day has its own place. This gives your mind a sense of order. It frees you from the constant pressure of wondering what to do next. You start each block with clarity and finish it with completion, rather than drifting through a scattered to-do list that never really ends. Most people feel overwhelmed, not because they have too much to do, but because everything they have to do is mixed together without structure. Work bleeds into rest. Small tasks interrupt deep focus. People ask for time that was never theirs to begin with. The result is exhaustion and underperformance. But when you block your time with intention, you separate your responsibilities into focused sessions. You reduce mental switching, which drains your energy. You eliminate the trap of multitasking, which lowers the quality of your work, and you take back control of your day, hour by hour. To begin this practice, look at your upcoming day before it starts. Identify what needs to be done, and more importantly, what deserves your best attention. Choose your top priorities, and assign them specific time slots. Don't just say you'll get to it, decide when. If something will take deep focus, protect that time like a meeting with your future self. Block 90 minutes if needed, and make that space sacred. No phone, no browsing, no interruptions. Just you and the work that moves your life forward. Then block time for lighter tasks. Emails, errands, phone calls, give them their place. Don't let them creep into your entire day. Contain them so they don't overflow. Doing this creates mental freedom. When you're focused, you're focused. When you're handling admin, you're handling admin. You're no longer trying to do both at once, which only leads to frustration and mediocrity. Your day should also include time blocks for rest and recovery. Your brain is not a machine. It needs space to recharge, to process, and to reset. Breaks are not laziness, they are strategy. Even 15 minutes to step away from your work can restore focus and sharpen thinking. When you give yourself space to breathe, your next time block becomes more productive, not less. The key is not to blur the lines. Don't rest during your focus time, and don't work during your rest time. Respect each block for what it's meant to be. When you start blocking time consistently, something changes inside you. You begin to view time differently. It no longer feels like something you're chasing. It becomes something you're directing. Your stress decreases because your mind isn't juggling 100 loose tasks. You're not constantly making decisions throughout the day. You made the decisions once, when you created the blocks, and now you just follow them. That removes mental fatigue. It frees up space for creativity and deeper work. You'll also find that you begin finishing what you start. One of the biggest struggles people face is not starting, but completing. They jump from one thing to another, never really gaining momentum. But when you commit to one task for a set period of time, and you remove all other options, your brain settles in. It stops resisting. It enters what researchers call a flow state, where your best thinking happens. You solve problems faster, you create at a higher level, you feel more capable and focused. This discipline builds confidence. Each time you complete a block, you gain a sense of control. You see yourself following through, and that builds trust in your ability to stay committed. It also builds momentum. A focused block in the morning creates energy for the next. And by the end of the day, you've stacked meaningful hours that actually lead somewhere. You don't feel like time slipped away. You feel like you used it on purpose. Time blocking also reveals how much time you waste. When you start assigning time to tasks, you see the truth about how long things actually take. You stop underestimating. You stop overcommitting. You stop saying yes to things that don't fit into the life you're trying to build. This creates sharper boundaries. It teaches you to protect your time not just from others, but from your own impulses. You learn to catch yourself before you drift into a distraction. You remember that every minute has weight, and you've already chosen how to use it. You don't need to schedule every second. That creates rigidity. Leave space for breathing, thinking, and living. But the blocks you do create should be intentional and honored. Over time, you'll find the rhythm that works for you. Maybe it's 90-minute blocks with short breaks. Maybe it's a focused morning followed by an open afternoon. Maybe it changes based on the day. The structure can evolve. What matters is that it serves your focus, not your habits. This practice also strengthens discipline. You begin to act based on your plan, not your feelings. You don't wait for motivation. You follow the block whether you feel ready or not. You begin, and once you begin, your mind catches up. This is how you train consistency. You don't leave your actions up to mood. You let your structure carry you, especially on the hard days. There will always be things that try to interrupt your blocks, unexpected requests, small urgencies, the temptation to check something quickly. But the power of this method is that it gives you a standard. You can ask, does this belong in my block, or can it wait? That one question helps you maintain focus. It protects your momentum, and if something must be handled, you adjust with intention, not panic. Eventually, time blocking becomes a lifestyle. You move through your day with awareness. You start treating your minutes like investments. You begin living by design, not by reaction. The stress of chaos fades. The guilt of unfinished work fades. What replaces them is confidence, clarity, and calm. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You trust yourself to follow through, and you end each day knowing your time was used for something meaningful. Time is your most valuable resource. You can't buy more, you can't earn more, but you can use it better. Time blocking is the tool that makes this possible. It's simple, powerful, and completely within your control. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to protect the hours you already have. You need to focus with intention, act with discipline, and honor the space you've set aside for your growth. That's how you master your daily focus. That's how you build a life that reflects your highest potential. One block of time at a time. Chapter 6. Set boundaries and learn to say no respectfully. Your time and energy are your responsibility. If you don't guard them, someone else will spend them for you. The truth is, no one will protect your priorities more than you do. People will ask for your attention, your help, your availability, and if you're not careful, you will give more than you can afford. You will give out of guilt, out of habit, out of fear of disappointing others. And slowly, your own goals, your own peace, and your own focus will fade into the background. Setting boundaries is not about building walls. It's about building a life that respects your needs, your vision, and your limited capacity. It's about recognizing that you cannot do everything, be everywhere, and please everyone, and that's not only okay, it's necessary for growth. Learning to say no respectfully is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Many people struggle with it. They say yes to things they don't have time for. They agree to requests that interrupt their plans. They commit to obligations that leave them drained and resentful. Why? Because they want to be kind. They want to avoid conflict. They want to feel like. But here's the truth. Saying yes when you mean no is not kindness. It's dishonesty. It's self-sacrifice. It's a slow erosion of your time and self-respect. When you learn to say no with clarity and grace, you honor both yourself and the other person. You create space for truth. You create space for what actually matters. Boundaries are decisions, not defenses. You're not shutting people out. You're choosing what gets your time and what doesn't. And that choice must come from your values. What are you building? What matters most right now? What kind of energy do you need to protect in order to become who you are meant to be? Without clear answers to those questions, your boundaries will collapse the moment someone else has a stronger opinion. You must be rooted in your purpose. That's what gives you the strength to say no without guilt, because you're not rejecting the person, you're respecting your path. The ability to set boundaries begins with internal clarity. You need to know your limits. You need to know what overextends you. You need to notice how you feel after certain interactions, how drained you become when you agree to things out of pressure. Pay attention to those signals. They are telling you what your mind hasn't said out loud yet. They are showing you the places where you've been overgiving, overcommitting, overcompromising. And once you recognize those patterns, you must be willing to make new decisions. You must decide that your time is no longer for sale to everything that asks for it. Start small. Practice saying no in low-pressure situations. Turn down an invitation that doesn't align with your goals. Decline a meeting that you're not required for. Let someone know that you need time before committing. These small acts build confidence. They teach your nervous system that it's safe to disappoint someone if it means staying true to yourself. They train your voice to speak up even when it trembles. And over time, they become part of who you are, a person who values time, clarity, and purpose over approval. How you say no matters. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to give long explanations. You don't need to apologize for protecting your well-being. A simple, respectful response is enough. I appreciate the offer, but I can't commit to that right now. Thanks for thinking of me, but my plate is full. That's not something I can give my energy to at the moment. These responses are kind, clear, and firm. They communicate respect without surrendering your time. And if someone pushes back, that's a reflection of their expectations, not your boundaries. You are not responsible for their disappointment. You are responsible for your life. Some people won't understand your boundaries. Some will question them, challenge them, even resent them. That's part of the process. When you change, the people around you have to adjust. They might miss the version of you who always said yes. They might be used to your availability, your silence, your willingness to bend. But if your growth is real, you will outgrow the need for constant agreement. You will become comfortable with being misunderstood. You will realize that peace is not found in pleasing others. It's found in honoring your own rhythm. Boundaries are also about the way you treat yourself. It's not just about saying no to others. It's about saying no to your own distractions, your own excuses, your own patterns of self-betrayal. Do you keep promises to yourself? Do you protect your mornings? Do you give yourself space to rest and think? Or do you fill every gap with noise, every break with guilt, every plan with avoidance? The way you protect your time when no one is watching reveals your true discipline, and that discipline is what shapes your future. The most successful people aren't available for everything. They are available for what aligns. They're not rude. They're not cold. They're simply clear. They wake up with priorities, and they protect those priorities from anything that doesn't contribute. That's not selfish. It's strategic. It's how you build something lasting. It's how you create momentum. It's how you gain control over your days, instead of letting others write your schedule for you. If you feel resentment, that's a sign that a boundary has been crossed. If you feel anxious before saying yes, that's a signal that your voice is being silenced. If you feel drained after a conversation, that's your body asking you to pull back. Respect those signals. Listen to them. They are wisdom. They are reminders that you are not meant to be everything to everyone. You are meant to be fully yourself, and that requires space. That requires limits. That requires the courage to draw a line and hold it, even when it's hard. Boundaries don't create distance. They create clarity. They allow relationships to thrive in truth, not obligation. They allow work to be done with focus, not resentment. They allow you to show up fully, not half-present and overcommitted. They are the quiet force behind every strong life. And they don't come naturally. They are built through practice, through saying no with love, through pausing before you agree, through choosing your path even when others don't understand it. There will always be more to do, more people who want your attention, more places to go. But at some point, you must decide who you want to be and what you're willing to give in order to become that person. And from that decision, everything else becomes easier. Your yes has power again, because it's no longer automatic. It's intentional. It's given with awareness. And your no has grace, because it's not a rejection. It's a declaration that your life deserves focus. If you want to build something meaningful, you must protect the space that allows it to grow. That means having the strength to say, not now. It means having the wisdom to let others manage their reaction. It means remembering that your energy is limited, and where you spend it determines what your future will look like. Set your boundaries, speak your truth, make your time matter, not just for others, but for the version of you that is trying to rise. That is how real change begins. That is how success becomes sustainable. One honest no at a time. Chapter 7. Track your time and fix where it leaks. Most people don't realize how much time they lose every day. It doesn't disappear in huge chunks all at once. It leaks slowly, quietly, in ways that feel harmless. A few extra minutes on social media, a task that takes twice as long because of interruptions, a conversation that drifts with no clear purpose, a decision postponed again and again. These small leaks add up. One wasted hour today becomes 5 by the end of the week. Multiply that by a month, and you've lost entire days with nothing to show for it. That's why tracking your time is not a productivity trick. It's a necessary habit for anyone who wants to live with clarity, direction, and control. You can't improve what you don't measure. Most people guess how they spend their time, but guesses are rarely accurate. What feels like 10 minutes might be 30. What feels productive might be just busy work. Until you see your time in front of you clearly and without excuse, you will keep operating on assumption. And assumptions are dangerous when it comes to time. They allow waste to hide in plain sight. They make it easy to believe you're doing your best when you're not. But the moment you start tracking, the truth becomes visible, and that truth is what gives you the power to change. Start by choosing a method that works for you. It could be as simple as writing down what you're doing every hour in a notebook. It could be using a time tracking app on your phone or computer. What matters is not the tool but the consistency. You need to collect honest data, track everything, not just your work but your transitions, your distractions, your breaks, your conversations, your scrolling. Don't judge it, just record it. See your day as it really is, not how you want it to be. This is the foundation of growth, facing the truth without defensiveness. After a few days, patterns will begin to emerge. You'll see where your time is going. You'll notice where you lose focus. You'll realize how much time you spend on tasks that could be streamlined or eliminated. You'll recognize how often you say yes to things that drain your energy, and this awareness is where transformation begins. You don't need to feel guilty about the time you've lost, but you do need to take responsibility for the time ahead. That means identifying the leaks and closing them with action. Maybe you find that you start your morning slowly and waste your first hour checking messages. Fix that by creating a morning ritual that protects your focus. Maybe you see that your meetings stretch longer than needed. Fix that by setting time limits and clear agendas. Maybe you realize you switch between tasks too often and lose momentum. Fix that by batching similar work and staying with one thing until it's done. Each leak can be addressed if you're willing to be honest and intentional, but the longer you ignore them, the more they control your day. Time leaks also come from unclear goals. When you don't know what you're aiming for, you default to what's easiest or most familiar. You fill time instead of using it. You confuse motion with progress. That's why clarity matters. You need to know what truly deserves your time. You need to define what a successful day looks like, not based on how busy you were, but on how aligned your actions were with your values and goals. When your vision is clear, your decisions become sharper. You stop wasting time on things that don't lead anywhere. Another source of time leakage is distraction. Not just from devices, but from internal habits, overthinking, indecision, procrastination. These habits cost you more time than you think. When you hesitate, you stretch a 5-minute task into 30. When you avoid a conversation, you carry the weight of it all day. When you delay a decision, you stay stuck in a loop of uncertainty. Fixing these leaks requires courage. Courage to act even when you're unsure. Courage to face discomfort. Courage to choose what's right over what's easy. You don't need to control every second of your day. Life isn't meant to be rigid, but you do need to be aware. You need to notice when you drift and gently bring yourself back. You need to know when your time is slipping and take small steps to reclaim it. This is not about perfection, it's about consistency. Track your time weekly, review it honestly, make small adjustments. Over time, these small steps lead to big change. Your days become tighter, your focus becomes stronger, your sense of control returns. The benefits of time tracking go beyond productivity. It improves your confidence. When you know where your time is going, you stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop feeling like there's never enough time. You realize you have more than you thought. You were just spending it poorly. And now that you've taken control, you feel empowered. You know what to do and when to do it. You know how to cut what doesn't serve you. You begin to trust yourself again. That trust builds momentum, and momentum builds a new standard for how you live. Time is your most limited resource. You can't buy more. You can't rewind what's been lost, but you can take back control of today. You can stop guessing and start measuring. You can stop leaking time and start using it with clarity. Track your time, fix the leaks, and watch how fast your life begins to align with your true potential. The hours are already in your hands. What changes everything is what you do with them. Chapter 8. Build routines that support your biggest goals. Success doesn't happen because of big dramatic moments. It happens because of small actions repeated with discipline, day after day. The people who reach their goals are not always the most talented or lucky. They're the ones who design their lives in a way that supports their vision. They build routines that keep them moving forward, even when motivation fades. They don't rely on willpower to make progress. They rely on structure. They create daily rhythms that guide their decisions, protect their focus, and give momentum to their efforts. When your routines align with your goals, you no longer fight with yourself every morning. You don't waste energy deciding what to do. You already know. You've designed your day to move you in the right direction. The most powerful routines are the ones that connect directly to your priorities. If your goal is to build a strong body, then your routine must include exercise, nutrition, and recovery. If your goal is to grow your income, then your routine must include focused work, learning, and outreach. If your goal is to deepen your peace, then your routine must include reflection, stillness, and intentional boundary. Too often people have goals that exist in their minds, but not in their days. They say they want change, but their habits say otherwise. What you do consistently reveals what you truly value. Your goals mean nothing if your routines don't reflect them. To build routines that support your biggest goals, you must begin with clarity. You need to define exactly what you're working toward. Be specific, be honest. What do you want to create? What kind of person do you want to become? Then reverse engineer your action. Ask yourself, what does someone who has already achieved this do daily? What do they focus on? What do they avoid? What decisions do they automate so their energy can stay focused on what matters? This gives you a blueprint, not just a list of tasks, but a system that supports your identity and direction. Start small. A powerful routine doesn't require a complete life overhaul. It starts with one block of time each day where you choose to act with purpose. Maybe it's the first hour of your morning. Maybe it's a lunch break you reclaim. Maybe it's the hour before bed that you've been wasting on screens. Choose one. Fill it with actions that align with your future, not your habits. Then protect it. This becomes the anchor for your day. The one part you control completely. Once that's in place, you can expand it. One focused hour becomes two. One good decision becomes a chain reaction. Your routines must be realistic. Don't copy someone else's structure just because it looks impressive. Build around your own energy, responsibilities, and goals. A routine that works for a night owl won't serve a morning person. A routine built on hustle will collapse if it ignores your need for recovery. The best routine is the one you can actually stick to, not the one that looks good on paper. Pay attention to how your body and mind respond. Adjust until it feels sustainable. This is not about pressure, it's about rhythm. When you find a rhythm that supports your goals, life starts flowing again. Eliminate friction. The easier you make it to start, the more likely you are to follow through. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Set your journal where you'll see it. Turn off notifications during focus blocks. Prep your meals in advance. Remove the need to think, decide, or search. Let your environment support your discipline. Every obstacle you remove adds energy back into your day. Every trigger you design pulls you closer to your goal without needing constant motivation. Track your routine, not to judge yourself, but to stay honest. When you measure your consistency, you begin to see your real effort. You catch yourself when you drift. You notice when one skipped step turns into a broken habit, and more importantly, you learn to self-correct before things unravel. A routine is not a prison. It's a support system. When it stops serving you, refine it. When it gets too loose, tighten it. Keep it alive. Keep it responsive. Keep it aligned with your season of life. Build routines that energize you, not just challenge you. Your routine should not leave you drained. It should leave you proud. Start with actions that build momentum, not resistance. If the first thing you do each day is something that brings clarity, peace, or progress, then the rest of your day carries that momentum. Stack your habits. Link new routines to existing ones. If you already make coffee each morning, use that moment to read a page, review a goal, or take a breath. Attach intention to the things you already do, and suddenly your day becomes filled with small wins. Protect your routines fiercely. Distractions will try to steal them. Emergencies will try to replace them. People will not always understand them. That's okay. You are not building your life around what's convenient for others. You're building your life around what's required for your growth. That takes strength. That takes discipline. That takes the courage to hold your structure even when it's easier to give in. Every time you choose your routine over chaos, you strengthen your future. Avoid perfection. Routines are not about doing everything right. They're about returning to the structure, even when you fall off. Missed a day, come back tomorrow. Lost focus for a week, restart. Progress is not about never slipping. It's about shortening the time between the slip and the return. Your ability to return is what builds consistency, and consistency is what separates those who dream from those who build. Routines build identity. When you act like the person you want to become, you start believing you are that person. When you show up every day, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, you begin to trust yourself. That trust builds self-respect. That self-respect changes how you carry yourself, and that change influences every decision you make. You no longer question your path. You're walking it with intention. There will be seasons where your routine must adapt. That's natural. Life changes. Your energy shifts. Your priorities evolve. But the habit of designing your days remains. You don't stop. You adjust. You don't abandon your structure. You reshape it to fit your new goals. This flexibility keeps you from breaking. It keeps you moving forward through uncertainty, transition, and growth. Your goals are only as strong as the systems that support them. You can have the clearest vision, the boldest ambition, the deepest desire, but if your days are filled with randomness, distractions, and repeated excuses, none of it will come to life. Your routine is the bridge between your current self and your future self. It is the structure that turns intention into action, and action into transformation. Build it with care, rebuild it when needed, and protect it like your life depends on it, because the life you want truly does. Chapter 9. Reflect every evening to sharpen your direction. Your day does not truly end when you stop working or when the sun goes down. It ends when you sit quietly with yourself and ask what it all meant. Without this pause, days blur into each other. You wake up, do things, check boxes, meet expectations, and yet something feels missing. That missing piece is reflection. It's the simple but powerful habit of looking back so you can move forward with greater clarity. Every evening is an opportunity to gain perspective, to understand what worked, what didn't, and why. to catch the small wins you might have overlooked, to acknowledge the mistakes without judgment, to ask if you're still walking in the direction you claim to want. If you skip this habit, you keep repeating the same patterns. But if you practice it daily, you sharpen your sense of purpose and steer your life with intention. Reflection is not about guilt or regret. It's about awareness. It's a quiet conversation with yourself that says, "This was my day. What did I do with it?" And you listen, honestly, not to beat yourself up, not to glorify your effort, but to see yourself clearly. In that clarity, you grow. You make adjustments. You catch yourself drifting. You remember why you started. You reconnect with your deeper goals and values. And the next day, you move with more precision, because you're not acting out of habit, you're acting from insight. This process does not take hours. It takes presence. Just a few minutes of intentional reflection each night can create powerful shifts in your mindset. Sit down somewhere quiet, put your phone away, breathe, ask yourself direct questions. What did I do today that moved me forward? Where did I waste time or energy? How did I respond to challenges or distractions? Did I show up as the person I want to become? These questions aren't always easy, but they are necessary. They pull truth to the surface. They help you see where you're improving and where you're avoiding. They build the discipline of honesty. Over time, evening reflection becomes a mental reset. You release the tension of the day. You stop carrying unfinished thoughts into your rest. You give yourself closure. This helps your sleep. Your brain doesn't stay tangled in unresolved decisions or scattered plans. You've acknowledged what matters. You've chosen what to carry and what to leave behind. This mental cleanup prepares your mind for deeper rest and stronger focus the next day. When you wake up, you don't start in a rush. You start clear. Use this time to track consistency, not perfection. Did you follow through on your commitments? Did you protect the time blocks you created? Did you honor your priorities? Or did you react to noise? These questions keep you accountable. They don't punish you. They bring your attention back to what you said matters. And if you drifted, that's okay. The power is in noticing, not judging. Once you see the drift, you can correct it. This is how growth happens. Small adjustments made over time through regular, honest check-in. Reflection also strengthens your self-awareness. You begin to notice emotional patterns, how certain situations affect your mood, how certain people impact your energy, how your inner voice responds to failure or praise. This kind of awareness is rare. Most people live disconnected from themselves. They feel things, but they don't examine them. They react, but they don't reflect. As a result, they keep reliving the same experiences without learning. But when you reflect consistently, you begin to notice patterns early. You see where your triggers live. You see which habits pull you down. You see where you need to grow. And you start to change not by force, but by understanding. Each night is also a chance to recognize what went well. Your mind is wired to remember what you didn't do, what you forgot, what you could have done better. But progress also lives in the small wins, completing a task you avoided, choosing rest over burnout, saying no to something misaligned. These victories deserve your attention. They build your confidence. They remind you that change is happening, even if it's not dramatic. And when you see your progress clearly, you stay motivated to keep going. Write it down. Don't just think it. Record it. A journal creates space between your thoughts and your emotions. It turns a busy mind into a focused one. You don't need pages of writing, just a few lines. What worked, what didn't, what to adjust. This written record becomes a personal guide. Over weeks and months, you'll look back and see how far you've come. You'll notice which patterns you've broken. You'll see how your thinking has matured. This creates momentum. It proves to you that your efforts are not invisible. They're building something solid. Evening reflection also creates emotional balance. Life is full of stress, urgency, pressure. Without a moment of stillness, you start living in reaction. You become numb. You move from task to task without connection. Reflection reconnects you to meaning. It slows you down long enough to ask, am I proud of how I spent today? Would I live this day again if I could? These questions shift your focus from doing more to living with intention. And when your days are filled with intention, your life begins to feel full. Even if it's simple, make this time sacred. Don't rush through it. Don't treat it like another task to check off. Approach it like a conversation with your future self. The version of you that's wiser, calmer, more focused. Ask, what do I want to remember about today? What lesson did I learn? What am I avoiding that needs my attention? What matters most right now? These questions pull you out of autopilot. They force presence. They help you steer your life with both hands. You don't need a perfect answer every night. Some days you'll feel clear. Other days you'll feel lost. That's okay. The power is not in having the answers. It's in showing up to ask the questions. That consistency builds emotional strength. It gives you space to grow with intention. It keeps your path visible, even when progress feels slow. Reflection is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In a world that moves fast and praises busyness, the habit of slowing down and looking inward becomes a form of resistance. It's how you keep your soul awake. It's how you avoid drifting away from what you care about. It's how you course correct before you crash. Successful people don't just move forward, they move forward with awareness. They know where they've been, they understand where they are, and they choose where they're going. Every evening gives you a chance to sharpen your direction, not with pressure, but with purpose, not with judgment, but with clarity. Sit with your day, look at it with honest eyes, celebrate what deserves to be celebrated, change what needs to be changed, and carry only what helps you grow. When you live like this day by day, you don't need to chase the future, you shape it, one reflection at a time. Chapter 10. Break big tasks into clear, simple, small actions. One of the biggest reasons people feel stuck is because the task ahead looks too large. It feels overwhelming, so they freeze. They procrastinate, delay, overthink, or avoid it altogether, not because they don't care, not because they're lazy, but because the size of the task creates emotional weight. It feels too uncertain, too complicated, too impossible to finish in one sitting. That's when most people give up, not because the task is beyond their ability, but because it's beyond their current clarity. The mind panics when it doesn't see a clear path forward. The solution is not to push harder. The solution is to break it down. If you want to make progress on something big, you must learn how to divide it into smaller, simpler, doable steps that remove emotional resistance and build immediate momentum. Clarity reduces fear. When you turn a vague goal into a specific action, it no longer feels like a mountain. It becomes something real, grounded, and manageable. You stop focusing on the finish line and start focusing on the next step. That shift alone can transform your productivity. Instead of thinking about launching a business, you think about researching one idea. Instead of thinking about writing a book, you think about outlining one chapter. Instead of thinking about getting in shape, you think about preparing one healthy meal. Every goal that seems unreachable is actually just a series of simple actions, not yet started. Once you see that, your sense of control returns. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You begin now, exactly where you are. This skill starts with asking the right questions. What is the actual outcome I want? What is the very first thing I need to do to get started? What's the easiest way to take the next step without getting overwhelmed? Don't try to solve the whole problem at once. That approach leads to frustration and burnout. Focus only on what you can do next. If you get stuck again, ask the same questions. Break the step into something even smaller. The key is movement, not perfection. Small action creates progress. Progress creates confidence. Confidence creates consistency, and consistency creates results. People often think they need motivation to start something big, but the truth is, motivation often comes after movement. When you complete a small part of something larger, you feel capable. That feeling builds trust in yourself. That trust gives you the courage to take on more. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You just need to simplify the task until you're no longer afraid of it. If something feels too big, you haven't broken it down far enough. Keep going. Keep simplifying. Keep making it smaller until the barrier disappears. Every big goal can be outlined like a staircase. The top step is the result you want. The bottom step is where you are now. Your job is not to jump to the top. It's to find the next step, climb it, and then look for the one after that. If you can see the whole staircase, great. But if you can only see the next few steps, that's enough. Progress is built in steps, not leaps. And the more clearly you define those steps, the more likely you are to take them without resistance. One way to do this is to break your task into phases. Planning, preparation, execution, review. Then break each phase into smaller actions. What exactly do you need to plan? What tools do you need to prepare? What actions are required to execute? What questions will help you reflect and improve? The more specific you get, the easier it becomes to move forward. Ambiguity leads to paralysis. Specificity leads to action. And action leads to results you can measure. Create visible checklists. Write down each step you need to take. Put it where you can see it. Don't keep everything in your head. When your mind tries to hold too much, it gets scattered. But when you unload your steps onto paper or into a task manager, you give your brain room to think clearly. You don't have to wonder what comes next. It's already decided. You just follow the process. Each time you check off a step, you feel a sense of completion. That feeling reinforces your momentum. It reminds you that you're not stuck, you're progressing. Use time blocks to handle each part. Don't try to do everything in one sitting. Give yourself focused time for each small task. Maybe it's 25 minutes to write an email. Maybe it's 15 minutes to research one tool. Maybe it's 1 hour to outline the first draft of an idea. Working in clear, timed intervals makes big goals less intimidating. You don't have to finish everything, you just have to show up for the time you've set. This habit turns effort into a routine, and routines remove the emotional drama from your progress. One of the most powerful benefits of breaking down tasks is that it helps you get unstuck quickly. When you feel overwhelmed, it's usually because the next action is unclear. You're not sure what to do, so you hesitate. But if you've already broken things down, you always have a next move. You always know where to begin again. That knowledge is powerful. It prevents long periods of stagnation. It reduces the emotional cost of re-engaging. It helps you stay in motion even when motivation dips. This approach also trains you to think strategically. When you get used to simplifying complex things, your brain becomes better at organizing information, spotting bottlenecks, and finding faster ways to reach the result. You begin to see that most big problems are not big at all, they're just unstructured. Once you give them structure, they lose their power to intimidate. You're no longer reacting to chaos. You're following a process. That shift builds mental strength and makes you more efficient over time. Start applying this habit in every area of your life. If you have a personal goal that feels too big, break it into daily habits. If you're starting a new project, write out every step you can think of. If you're feeling overwhelmed by your schedule, list your top priorities and reduce the noise. This doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean that everything becomes doable. Big goals don't require big energy, they require smart structure. And structure is something you create, one clear action at a time. The reason this works is because clarity leads to commitment. When you know exactly what to do, your excuses lose power. You no longer tell yourself that you'll start tomorrow. You start today because there's no confusion. Confusion creates delay. Clarity creates discipline. And that discipline is what leads you to results, not someday but now. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled by wishing or waiting. It's filled by action. And action becomes easier when it's broken down into pieces you can understand, schedule, and complete. Big tasks are only scary when you view them as one massive block of effort. But once you divide them into smaller pieces, you start to see how achievable they really are. You don't need more hours in the day. You need a better way to use the hours you already have. Every big success you admire is built on this simple principle. The people who finish what they start, the ones who seem focused and unstoppable, they don't have more discipline than you. They've just learned to turn goals into daily steps. They act on what they can control today instead of waiting for perfect circumstances. That's how they move forward, consistently, patiently, and with clarity. If you want to finish what you start, learn to break things down. Don't just stare at the mountain. Look for the first rock you can climb, then climb the next one, and then the next. That's how things get built. That's how dreams become real. One simple, clear action at a time. Chapter 11. Stay present and do one task with care. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. The constant ping of notifications, the pull of multitasking, the urge to check several things at once. These habits pull your attention in multiple directions and leave your mind scattered. It's no wonder so many people feel overwhelmed and exhausted by the end of the day. The quality of your work and the depth of your satisfaction depend heavily on your ability to stay present, to truly focus on one task at a time, to bring your full attention, your care, and your deliberate effort into each moment. This skill is rare but invaluable, and it can change how you manage your time and energy. When you stay present, you do not rush through tasks. You resist the temptation to speed up or cut corners just to check something off your list. Instead, you give each task your full effort and concentration. This doesn't mean working slowly or inefficiently. It means working deeply and intentionally. You become aware of every detail, every step, every decision. You notice how each action contributes to the outcome. You connect with the process rather than just the result. This approach leads to higher quality work, fewer mistakes, and greater satisfaction. It's a way to honor your time and your capabilities. Doing one task with care also reduces mental fatigue. When your attention is split among several things, your brain has to constantly switch gears. This shifting costs energy and reduces focus. Your mind becomes tired faster and your work suffers. But when you commit to one task, your brain stays engaged in a flow. You use your mental resources more efficiently. You finish tasks faster and with better results. You end your work feeling accomplished, not drained. This is not just about productivity. It's about protecting your mental space and preserving your energy. This habit also cultivates mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully aware of what you're doing, how you're feeling, and what's happening around you. It's a powerful tool against distraction and stress. When you focus on one task with care, you practice mindfulness naturally. You observe your thoughts without judgment. You notice when your mind wants to wander and gently bring it back. Over time, this strengthens your ability to concentrate and stay calm under pressure. You develop resilience to the constant noise of modern life. To cultivate this skill, start by choosing your most important task for the day. Don't start with easy or low-value work just because it feels comfortable. Start with the task that matters most. Clear your workspace of distractions, turn off notifications, close unrelated tabs or apps. Set a timer if that helps. Give yourself permission to focus fully for a set period. During this time, commit to doing only that one task. If your mind wanders, acknowledge it and return your attention gently but firmly. This practice takes effort, but it becomes easier with repetition. Break your work into manageable chunks that fit your attention span. Trying to focus for hours without breaks is unrealistic. Instead, work in focused intervals of 25 to 60 minutes, followed by a short break. This approach maintains your energy and keeps your mind fresh. During the focused interval, do only the chosen task. During the break, rest or do something unrelated to work. This cycle creates a rhythm that supports deep concentration and sustained effort. Pay attention to the quality of your work, not just the quantity. Ask yourself, am I doing this task well or just quickly? Am I making thoughtful decisions or rushing through? Am I present with this moment or distracted by future worries? When you answer these honestly, you begin to see how your mindset affects your output. Careful, present work builds pride and confidence. It builds habits that compound over time. When you consistently bring your best to each task, you lay the foundation for success. Stay patient with yourself as you develop this habit. The impulse to multitask or speed through work is strong. Your mind craves novelty and distraction. This is natural. But every time you notice distraction and choose to return your focus, you strengthen your discipline. Over weeks and months, this builds into a powerful habit that becomes automatic. You begin to control your attention rather than being controlled by it. Doing one task with care also improves your decision-making. When your mind is scattered, you make impulsive or superficial choices. When you're present, you slow down and consider options carefully. You weigh consequences and choose wisely. This leads to better results and fewer regrets. It also reduces the stress of second-guessing yourself later. Presence sharpens your thinking and deepens your understanding. Your relationships benefit too. When you focus fully on the person you're talking to, they feel heard and valued. You respond more thoughtfully. Conversations become richer and more meaningful. You create deeper connection. This strengthens your support network and improves your emotional well-being. Presence is not just a work habit, it's a life habit. Remember that staying present is a daily practice, not a perfect state. Some days, your mind will be more restless. Some tasks will feel boring or difficult to focus on. That's okay. The key is to return your attention again and again. This practice builds mental strength and resilience. It helps you navigate stress, complexity, and uncertainty with calmness and clarity. Celebrate small victories along the way. Each time you complete a task with care, you reinforce your ability. Each moment of focused attention is a step toward mastery. Over time, these moments add up to profound change. You stop feeling overwhelmed by your workload. You start feeling in control of your time and energy. You create work that matters and lives that feel meaningful. Staying present is not about eliminating all distractions. It's about managing them wisely. It's about creating boundaries that protect your focus while allowing flexibility when needed. It's about making deliberate choices rather than reacting to impulses. This mindset transforms how you experience your day and your work. It turns time from something that slips away into something you own. Practice this skill with kindness. Don't criticize yourself for losing focus. Instead, be curious. Notice what pulls you away and why. Then adjust your environment or approach to minimize those pulls. Experiment with different techniques. Maybe background music helps you concentrate. Maybe a quiet room works best. Maybe writing your task down before you start anchors your attention. Find what works for you and build on it. In a world full of distractions, your ability to stay present and do one task with care is a superpower. It frees you from overwhelm, sharpens your mind, and deepens your satisfaction. It makes your time count because you give it your full self. This is how successful people manage their focus. This is how they make progress when others stall. This is how they create meaningful lives in a noisy world. Chapter 12. Limit social media to protect your inner peace. In a world where social media demands constant attention, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The endless scroll, the notifications, the urge to compare yourself to others, it all chips away at your inner peace. Social media is designed to grab your attention and keep it, but that attention comes at a cost. It fragments your focus, stirs unnecessary emotions, and often leaves you feeling drained or anxious. Protecting your mental and emotional space means taking control of how, when, and why you engage with social media. It requires discipline and clear boundaries, but the reward is a calmer mind and more energy for what truly moves your life forward. Limiting social media is not about rejecting connection or information. It's about choosing quality over quantity, presence over distraction. Every minute you spend mindlessly scrolling is a minute you lose from your real goals, relationships, and peace of mind. This habit often creeps in unnoticed, filling gaps between tasks or waiting moments. Before you know it, entire hours disappear into a feed that rarely serves your purpose. The key is awareness, recognizing how much time you spend and what effect it has on your mood and productivity. When you become aware, you gain power to make changes. Start by tracking your usage honestly. Many people underestimate how much time they spend on social media. Use built-in screen time apps or third-party tools to get a clear picture. Seeing the numbers can be eye-opening. It shows how often you open apps, how long you stay, and what times of day you're most vulnerable to distraction. This data is the first step to taking control. It gives you a baseline from which to improve, not a reason to feel guilty. Once you know your patterns, set clear limits. Decide how much time you want to spend daily or weekly, and stick to it. This might mean cutting your social media use by half or more. Use timers or app restrictions to enforce these limits. Don't leave it to willpower alone. It's too easy to slip back. Make the limits non-negotiable parts of your routine, just like exercise or work blocks. This creates structure that protects your time and energy. Create social media-free zones in your day. For example, avoid social media first thing in the morning or right before bed. These times are crucial for setting your mindset and calming your brain for rest. Starting your day with social media often puts you in a reactive mode, responding to other people's priorities instead of your own. Ending your day with it can make it harder to sleep and leave you with unresolved emotions. Instead, use these moments for reflection, planning, or rest. Protecting these times preserves your mental clarity and emotional balance. Be selective about what and who you follow. Your feed shapes your thoughts and feelings. If it's filled with negativity, conflict, or constant comparison, it will erode your peace. Curate your social media intentionally. Follow accounts that inspire, educate, or uplift you. Unfollow or mute accounts that drain your energy or distract from your goals. This conscious curation transforms your feed from a chaotic noise to a meaningful resource. It turns social media from a time sink into a tool for growth. Practice mindful consumption. Before you open an app, ask yourself, why am I doing this? What do I hope to gain? Is this helping me or hurting me? Mindless scrolling happens when you act without purpose. Mindful use happens when you stay aware of your intention and feelings. If you notice negative emotions rising, take a break or log off. Don't wait until you're overwhelmed. Catch it early. This habit protects your emotional well-being and keeps social media a positive force. Replace social media time with nourishing activities. When you reduce social media, You create gaps in your schedule. Fill those gaps with actions that build your goals and peace. Read a book, take a walk, practice meditation, connect face-to-face with others, or work on a project you care about. These choices restore your energy and align with your purpose. They help you reclaim your time from distraction and invest it in meaningful growth. Set boundaries with others about social media. Sometimes, friends or colleagues expect immediate responses or constant updates. You don't need to be available 24/7. Communicate your limits clearly and respectfully. Decide when and how you engage online. This protects your focus and reduces social pressure. You create space for deeper, offline connections that nourish your well-being. Learn to tolerate boredom and discomfort without reaching for your phone. Social media often fills the quiet moments or uneasy feelings, but true peace comes when you face those moments fully. Notice your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Sit with silence or stillness. This builds inner strength and reduces your dependency on external stimulation. Over time, you train your mind to find calm within, rather than seeking it outside. Remember that your self-worth is not tied to likes, comments, or followers. Social media can distort reality and create unhealthy comparisons. Protect your inner peace by grounding yourself in your values and achievements, not in online validation. Practice gratitude and self-compassion. Focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your time. This shifts your energy from seeking approval to creating meaning. Regularly review your social media habits. What's working? What's draining? Adjust your limits and strategies as needed. Life changes, and so do your priorities. Keep your approach flexible but intentional. Reflection helps you stay aligned and prevents slipping back into old patterns. Limiting social media is a powerful step toward mastering your time and protecting your mental space. It frees you from distraction, reduces stress, and creates room for focused work and genuine connection. This discipline isn't easy at first, but it's a profound act of self-respect. When you control your social media use, you reclaim your peace and open the door to deeper fulfillment. This is how successful people manage their time and protect their inner calm in a noisy world. Chapter 13. Use a calendar and stick to your plan. Using a calendar effectively is one of the most powerful tools to take control of your time and your life. A calendar is not just a place to note appointments or deadlines. It is your roadmap for the day, week, and month ahead. It transforms vague intentions into clear commitments. When you use a calendar consistently, you create structure that guides your actions and keeps your focus sharp. Without this tool, time slips away unnoticed. Plans become vague wishes. Priorities get lost in the noise. Using a calendar is a way to anchor your day with purpose, ensuring that what matters gets done and distractions stay at bay. The first step to using a calendar well is to treat it as a sacred space for your commitments, not just a passive tool. Every task, appointment, and goal deserves a place in your schedule. Writing things down changes how you relate to them. It moves them from your busy mind into a tangible plan. This simple act frees mental space and reduces stress because you don't have to remember everything. You create trust with yourself by making promises and keeping them. This builds discipline and confidence. A calendar also helps you see your time realistically. Many people underestimate how long tasks take or how many responsibilities they have. This leads to overbooking, rushing, and frustration. When you schedule your tasks with clear start and end times, you get an accurate picture of your day. You stop assuming you have endless hours. You start making intentional choices about where your time goes. This awareness protects you from burnout and helps maintain steady, sustainable progress. Consistency is crucial. A calendar only works if you use it daily. Make it a habit to review your calendar every morning and plan your day accordingly. Adjust as needed, but honor your commitment. Treat your calendar appointments as real meetings with yourself and with others. This mindset shift changes how seriously you take your time. It helps you resist distractions and say no to activities that don't fit your priorities. Sticking to your calendar builds integrity and respect for your own time. Prioritize scheduling time for your most important work first. Instead of filling your calendar with minor tasks or interruptions, block out dedicated time for high-value projects. This practice protects your focus and ensures progress on what truly moves you forward. When you reserve space for your biggest goals, you don't let urgency push them aside. You control your day rather than letting it control you. This is how you transform intentions into results. Use your calendar to schedule breaks and rest too. Many people treat breaks as optional or squeeze them in randomly. But planned rest is essential for maintaining energy and clarity throughout the day. Scheduling short pauses refreshes your mind and prevents fatigue. It also helps maintain motivation because you're not constantly pushing yourself without pause. Rest is a tool for resilience, and your calendar can remind you to take it seriously. Be realistic when scheduling. Avoid cramming your calendar with back-to-back tasks without buffers. Leave room between appointments to handle unexpected events or to transition smoothly. This flexibility prevents stress and helps you maintain quality in your work. It also prevents feelings of overwhelm when something runs longer than expected. Scheduling with breathing room creates a balanced day that supports focus and calmness. Leverage calendar reminders and alerts as tools, not distractions. Use them to prompt you gently to start or end a task, but don't rely solely on alarms to keep you on track. Cultivate internal discipline alongside external tools. Over time, you'll develop a sense of timing that allows you to stay focused without constant prompts. This balance of external and internal cues strengthens your ability to manage time independently. Integrate all areas of your life into your calendar. Don't just schedule work tasks, but include family time, exercise, learning, and personal projects. Seeing your whole life on your calendar helps you maintain balance and avoid neglecting important areas. It also helps you set realistic expectations about how much time you have for different priorities. This holistic view supports long-term well-being and success. Review your calendar regularly to learn and improve. At the end of each week, look back to see what you accomplished and where you struggled. Did you stick to your schedule? Did you underestimate or overestimate time? Were there unexpected interruptions? Use this insight to adjust your planning for the next week. Continuous refinement makes your calendar more accurate and effective over time. Avoid overcommitting by learning to say no when your calendar is full. One of the greatest challenges in managing time is the temptation to say yes to every request. But your calendar shows you what's realistic. When you honor it, you protect your energy and priorities. Saying no is not selfish, it's necessary for focused progress. Respecting your calendar means respecting your limits. Use different calendar formats and tools that fit your style. Some people prefer digital calendars with notifications and easy rescheduling. Others prefer paper planners with space for notes and reflections. Choose what works for you and stick with it. Consistency matters more than the specific tool. The calendar is your partner in time management, so make it comfortable and accessible. Scheduling recurring tasks helps automate good habits. Instead of deciding daily when to do certain activities like exercise or reading, block regular times for them. This reduces decision fatigue and creates stability. Routine actions become part of your rhythm, freeing mental energy for other priorities. Your calendar becomes not just a task manager but a builder of discipline. Commit to starting your day by reviewing your calendar with intention. This simple practice sets your mindset. You visualize what you'll accomplish and prepare mentally for the tasks ahead. You identify potential challenges and adjust your plan before distractions arise. This morning routine acts as your daily compass, keeping you aligned with your goals. When unexpected events disrupt your calendar, respond with calm and flexibility. Reschedule tasks thoughtfully rather than abandoning your plan. Treat your calendar as a living document that supports you, not a rigid prison. This attitude keeps your momentum intact even when life is unpredictable. A calendar also supports teamwork and accountability. When you share your schedule with colleagues, friends, or family, you create transparency. This reduces misunderstandings and builds trust. You can coordinate better and support each other's goals. Using a calendar as a communication tool strengthens relationships and collaboration. Ultimately, using a calendar and sticking to your plan is an act of respect for your time and your life. It's a declaration that your goals matter and that you are committed to making them happen. It turns chaos into order and intention into action. This discipline creates freedom, not restriction, because it frees your mind from overwhelm and confusion. The power of a calendar lies not in the tool itself, but in the commitment you bring to it. When you honor your calendar, you honor your potential. You show up for yourself consistently. You build trust in your ability to manage time wisely. This trust fuels confidence and momentum. You begin to live with purpose, not by reaction. The small daily acts of planning, scheduling, and following through build an unshakable foundation. Over time, your calendar becomes a reflection of your priorities, your discipline, and your growth. It turns your vision into reality. Using a calendar and sticking to your plan is one of the clearest paths to mastering your time and creating a life you control. Chapter 14. Rest deeply so your energy stays strong daily. Rest is not a luxury. It is a fundamental requirement for sustaining energy and maintaining peak performance every day. Many people push themselves to the brink, believing that more hours of work or constant activity will lead to greater success. This mindset overlooks a critical truth. Without deep, quality rest, your mind and body cannot function at their best. Rest recharges your energy reserves, clears mental clutter, and restores emotional balance. It enables resilience against stress and sharpens your focus. Prioritizing rest is not a sign of weakness. It is a powerful act of self-respect and a cornerstone of sustainable success. The quality of your rest matters just as much as the quantity. Shallow or interrupted rest fails to provide the recovery your system needs. Sleep is often the first thing people sacrifice when time feels tight, but it is the most important form of rest. Deep sleep allows your brain to process memories, regulate emotions, and repair physical tissue. Without it, cognitive functions such as memory, creativity, and decision-making suffer. Chronic lack of restful sleep leads to burnout, illness, and decreased productivity. Making sleep a priority means setting consistent bedtimes and wake times, creating a sleep-friendly environment, and reducing stimulating activities before bed. Rest extends beyond sleep. It includes breaks during the day, moments of stillness, and activities that replenish your energy. Short breaks help prevent mental fatigue and keep your focus sharp. They reduce the buildup of stress hormones and improve overall mood. Integrating micro-rests into your daily routine, such as standing up to stretch, breathing deeply, or closing your eyes for a few minutes, can rejuvenate your brain and body. These small pauses are not wasted time, they are investments in your capacity to perform. Resting deeply also means disconnecting from the constant demands of modern life. Technology and endless notifications create a state of alertness that keeps your nervous system engaged long after work ends. Establish clear boundaries to separate work time from rest time. Turn off screens at least an hour before bed. Engage in calming activities like reading, meditation, or gentle walks. These habits help transition your mind from active problem solving to restful recovery. The more intentional you are about rest, the more fully your energy replenishes. Listening to your body's signals is crucial. Fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, and decreased motivation are signs that your energy reserves are low. Ignoring these signs leads to diminishing returns and longer recovery times. When you notice these signals, prioritize rest, even if it means saying no to certain commitments. Respecting your limits preserves your well-being and sustains your long-term progress. Deep rest also nurtures emotional resilience. When your mind is tired, negative thoughts and stress can overwhelm you. Rest provides the mental space to process emotions and regain balance. This clarity improves your ability to handle challenges without becoming overwhelmed. It strengthens your resolve and allows you to approach difficulties with calmness rather than reactivity. Incorporate restorative activities into your routine. Practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, and gentle yoga calm the nervous system and promote relaxation. Nature walks or spending quiet time outdoors can reset your mental state and reduce stress. These activities are not indulgences, they are essential tools for maintaining high energy and mental clarity. Avoid the trap of busyness equals productivity. Constant activity without rest leads to exhaustion, mistakes, and poor decisions. Success is not about how much you do, but how well you do it. Deep rest enhances your ability to concentrate, innovate, and make sound choices. It fuels your creative and strategic thinking, allowing you to work smarter, not harder. Creating a restful environment supports deep rest. This includes comfortable bedding, a cool and dark room, and minimal noise. Regularly declutter your sleeping area to create a calm space free from distractions. These conditions signal your body that it's time to relax and recover. Build rituals around rest to signal your body and mind that it's time to shift gears. Simple actions like dimming lights, avoiding caffeine late in the day, or listening to calming music can help. These cues train your system to anticipate rest, making it easier to fall asleep and enter restorative states. Be patient with yourself as you adjust to prioritizing rest. Many people feel guilty for taking time off or fear falling behind. Understand that rest is part of your productivity cycle. The energy you conserve through rest multiplies your capacity to perform. This mindset shift transforms how you value your time and effort. Track your sleep and rest habits to identify patterns and make improvements. Use journals or apps to monitor how different behaviors affect your energy. This feedback helps you fine-tune your routine for maximum benefit. Over time, you learn what supports your best rest and what disrupts it. Remember that rest is a daily commitment, not a one-time fix. Consistent attention to quality rest creates a foundation for sustained success. It prevents burnout and keeps you moving forward with strength and clarity. Your ability to rest deeply directly impacts your effectiveness, creativity, and happiness. When you honor rest as a priority, you build a powerful rhythm in your life. Work and activity flow naturally into recovery and rejuvenation. This balance enhances your physical health, mental resilience, and emotional well-being. It allows you to face each day with vigor and focus. In conclusion, rest deeply and regularly to keep your energy strong. Protect your time for sleep and recovery. Integrate restorative breaks and calming practices into your routine. Create an environment that supports relaxation. Listen to your body's signals and adjust accordingly. By doing so, you lay the foundation for lasting productivity, creativity, and success. This commitment to rest is not just self-care, it is the fuel that powers your ability to achieve and sustain your goals. Chapter 15. Batch similar tasks to save precious mental effort. Batching similar tasks is a strategic approach that can dramatically improve your productivity and conserve your mental energy. When you group similar activities together and handle them all at once, you reduce the cognitive load caused by constantly switching between different types of tasks. This approach allows your mind to stay in a consistent mode, minimizing distractions and increasing efficiency. It's a practical method that successful people use to get more done with less effort. The mental cost of switching tasks is often underestimated. Every time you move from one kind of activity to another, your brain needs time to adjust and refocus. This transition period is not just a momentary pause, it actually reduces your overall effectiveness and increases fatigue. By batching similar tasks, you eliminate many of these costly shifts. For example, answering all emails in one dedicated period, instead of checking them sporadically, keeps you in an email mindset, making the process faster and less draining. To implement batching, start by identifying tasks that naturally fit together. These can be administrative duties, phone calls, errands, or creative work. Group them into clusters based on their similarity. Then allocate specific blocks of time in your schedule to complete each batch. During these blocks, focus solely on that category of work. Resist the temptation to jump between different types of tasks or multitask. This focused approach allows you to build momentum and complete work more quickly. Batching also helps to reduce distractions. When you designate time for particular tasks, you create clear boundaries. Instead of being interrupted multiple times throughout the day to handle similar requests or activities, you handle them all in one go. This consolidation minimizes interruptions and frees up your attention for deeper, more important work during other periods. Another benefit of batching is that it fosters a sense of accomplishment. Finishing a group of similar tasks creates a tangible sense of progress. This momentum motivates you to maintain focus and tackle the next batch with energy. It also helps prevent the stress that comes from leaving many small scattered tasks lingering in your mind. Clearing these tasks in batches gives you a clearer mental space and a feeling of control over your workload. Batching can also improve the quality of your work. When your brain is settled into one type of activity, you're less prone to errors and more able to pay attention to details. This is especially important for tasks that require accuracy, such as financial management or editing documents. Handling these tasks in focused batches allows you to maintain a higher standard. It's important to recognize which tasks benefit most from batching. Routine, repetitive, or similar tasks are ideal candidates. Creative or complex projects may require different approaches, but you can still batch certain components, like research or brainstorming. Organizing your day around these batches allows you to preserve your best energy for the most demanding work. To get started, analyze your daily activities and list tasks that often interrupt your flow or drain your energy. Group them by type and set up batch periods for each. Use timers or alarms to stick to these periods and avoid overruns. Over time, refine your batching schedule based on what feels most natural and productive. Batching is especially powerful when combined with other time management techniques. For example, using batching within your time-blocked schedule maximizes focus. Pairing it with a clear priority system ensures you're batching the right tasks at the right time. This layered approach multiplies your effectiveness and helps maintain consistent progress toward your goals. Don't forget to communicate your batching strategy to colleagues, family, or anyone who might expect your immediate attention. Let them know when you will be available to respond to emails, calls, or other requests. This transparency helps manage expectations and reduces pressure to react instantly, which supports your batching efforts. Batching also encourages you to automate or delegate repetitive tasks where possible. By identifying these clusters, you can find tools, systems, or people to handle parts of the workload. Automation frees your time and mental space for higher value activities. Delegation empowers others and helps you focus on your unique strengths. Monitor your batching habits regularly. Pay attention to how they affect your productivity and energy levels. Adjust batch sizes, timing, or task groupings to find the optimal balance. Experimentation helps you discover what works best for your rhythm and responsibilities. Avoid making batches too large or too small. Too large and you risk fatigue or boredom. Too small and you lose the benefits of focus and efficiency. Aim for manageable chunks of work that keep you engaged and energized. Break larger batches into sub-batches if needed to maintain momentum. Batching is a skill that improves with practice. At first it might feel unnatural or restrictive. Your mind may resist staying in one task mode for extended periods. Persistence builds discipline and mental endurance. Soon, batching becomes a natural part of your workflow and a powerful ally in managing your time. By batching similar tasks, you protect your mental energy from unnecessary waste. You streamline your day, increase productivity, and reduce stress. This method allows you to work smarter, not harder. It creates space for focused creativity and strategic thinking. Ultimately, batching transforms how you approach work and time management. Embracing batching aligns with the mindset of successful people who recognize that every minute and every ounce of energy counts. It's not about doing more at once, but about reducing wasted effort and making your work more intentional. This simple adjustment can lead to remarkable improvements in your daily effectiveness and long-term achievement. Practice batching consistently and watch how it reshapes your relationship with time. You gain clarity, control, and confidence. You accomplish more with less mental strain. You build habits that support ongoing growth and resilience. Batching is a practical, actionable step toward mastering your time and creating a life marked by focused effort and meaningful results. Chapter 16. Review your week and improve what felt off. Taking time each week to review your progress is essential for continual growth and improvement. Without this reflection, it's easy to repeat the same mistakes or lose sight of your goals. A weekly review gives you the opportunity to step back, examine what went well, identify what felt off, and make deliberate adjustments. It turns experience into wisdom and confusion into clarity. This practice strengthens your self-awareness and empowers you to take control over your time and actions. Begin by setting aside a specific time each week, dedicated solely to review. Treat this appointment with yourself as seriously as a meeting with others. Consistency creates habit and signals the importance of this process. Use a quiet space free from distractions so you can think deeply and honestly about your week. Start your review by looking at your accomplishments. Acknowledge the tasks you completed and progress you made. Celebrate even small wins. Recognizing success builds confidence and motivates you to keep moving forward. It reinforces the positive habits that support your growth and productivity. Next, examine the moments that felt challenging or off track. Don't avoid these areas. Instead, approach them with curiosity and openness. Ask yourself what caused those difficulties. Were there unexpected interruptions, poor planning, lack of energy, or unclear priorities? Understanding the root causes is the key to effective improvement. Identify patterns in what didn't work. Are there recurring distractions or time leaks? Do certain types of tasks consistently take longer than expected? Is your energy highest at specific times of day? Awareness of these patterns allows you to make smarter decisions about how to structure your time and tasks. Be honest with yourself about where you may have said yes to too many commitments or neglected rest. Recognize if perfectionism, procrastination, or fear played a role in slowing you down. These insights help you break unproductive cycles and develop healthier habits. Use your review to adjust your upcoming week's plan. Apply the lessons learned by scheduling time differently, setting clearer boundaries, or changing your approach to specific tasks. For example, If you noticed meetings disrupted your focus, consider batching them or setting stricter limits. If fatigue impacted your work quality, prioritize rest or shift demanding tasks to when you have more energy. Incorporate feedback loops into your weekly review. Reflect not only on your actions, but also on your mindset and emotional state. How did your attitude affect your productivity? Were you resilient or reactive in the face of challenges? This holistic view deepens your self-mastery and strengthens your ability to adapt. Document your insights in a journal or planner. Writing down what you observe and plan increases accountability and makes your reflection tangible. It also allows you to track progress over time. Reviewing past entries helps you recognize growth and stay motivated. Make the review a dialogue rather than a judgment session. Speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement. Avoid harsh criticism. The goal is to learn and improve, not to shame or create stress. A supportive inner voice fosters resilience and sustained effort. Experiment with different review methods to find what resonates. Some people prefer answering structured questions, others like free writing, and some use visual tools like mind maps. The format is less important than the habit of consistent, thoughtful reflection. Commit to action after your review. Insights have value only when translated into steps you actually take. Choose 1 or 2 key changes to implement the following week. This focus prevents overwhelm and increases the likelihood of success. Small, consistent improvements compound into significant results over time. Recognize that improvement is a continuous process. Not every week will be perfect, and setbacks are normal. The weekly review keeps you grounded and focused on long-term progress rather than short-term perfection. It cultivates patience and persistence. Integrate your review with other time management practices like planning, prioritizing, and batching. This creates a cohesive system that supports your goals and reduces wasted effort. Each practice reinforces the others, making your overall approach more effective. As you develop the habit of weekly review, you become more proactive in managing your time and energy. You catch issues early and adjust before they escalate. This agility is a hallmark of successful people who master their time. Over time, your weekly reflections deepen your understanding of yourself and your work. You become more aligned with your values and more intentional in your choices. This clarity brings peace of mind and greater fulfillment. Keep your review simple and realistic. Avoid overcomplicating or spending excessive time on it. Even a brief, focused session can yield powerful insights. The key is consistency and sincerity. Use your review to reconnect with your purpose. Reflect on how your weekly actions contribute to your larger goals and vision. This connection fuels motivation and guides your daily decisions. Remember that reviewing your week is an act of self-care and commitment. It shows that you value your growth and respect your time. This practice strengthens your discipline and helps build momentum for lasting success. By regularly reviewing your week and improving what felt off, you create a powerful feedback loop that drives continuous self-improvement. You sharpen your direction, boost your efficiency, and build resilience. This habit transforms how you manage time and shapes the trajectory of your life. Chapter 17. Focus on growth, not busyness or feeling rushed. The difference between being busy and being productive lies in the focus on growth rather than merely filling time. Many people confuse constant activity with meaningful progress. This misunderstanding leads to a life of rushing, stress, and exhaustion without true advancement toward personal goals. Growth requires intentional effort and clear priorities. It demands attention to how you develop skills, habits, and mindset, not just how many tasks you complete or how quickly you move. When your focus shifts to growth, busyness loses its appeal and feeling rushed fades away. Growth is about deliberate improvement in areas that truly matter. It involves learning, refining, and expanding your capabilities. When you orient your day toward growth, every action has purpose and direction. This clarity keeps you grounded and prevents distractions from pulling you off course. You stop reacting to every demand or impulse and start designing your life with intention. Busyness often comes from external pressures or internal fears. The need to prove worth or avoid discomfort drives frantic activity. This can create the illusion of productivity, but often results in wasted effort. Growth asks for a different approach. It requires patience to cultivate skills and the wisdom to choose what deserves your time. It's not about speed, but depth and quality. Feeling rushed is a symptom of poor time management and lack of focus. When you rush, mistakes increase, creativity diminishes, and stress escalates. This state is counterproductive for sustained growth. Instead, slowing down to focus on one meaningful task at a time enhances learning and mastery. Deep focus strengthens neural pathways and builds lasting competence. To focus on growth, start by defining what growth means for you personally. This might involve acquiring new knowledge, improving emotional intelligence, developing physical health, or building stronger relationships. Having a clear definition aligns your actions with what truly matters. It turns daily efforts into steps toward becoming the person you want to be. Set specific, measurable growth goals instead of vague to-do lists. Goals centered on improvement provide motivation and direction. They help you evaluate your progress beyond just checking off tasks. For example, instead of aiming to work more, aim to learn a new skill or strengthen a habit. This mindset shift brings meaning to your daily routine. Prioritize activities that contribute to your growth over those that create busyness without value. Evaluate how each task or commitment serves your development. Eliminate or delegate what does not support your goals. This practice frees time and energy for what truly advances you. Create routines that integrate growth into your daily life. Consistency builds momentum and embeds progress into your habits. Whether it's reading daily, practicing a skill, or reflecting on your experiences, these routines keep growth at the forefront. They transform aspirations into tangible results. Embrace the process of growth as ongoing and non-linear. Progress often involves setbacks, plateaus, and challenges. Accepting this reality reduces frustration and builds resilience. Each obstacle becomes a learning opportunity rather than a reason to rush or give up. Mindfulness supports growth by keeping you present and aware of your intentions. When you act with awareness, you avoid automatic busyness. You make conscious choices that align with your goals. This presence deepens your engagement and enhances the quality of your work. Avoid multitasking as it fragments attention and impairs learning. Focusing on one task fully leads to better outcomes and faster skill acquisition. This focused effort beats scattered busyness every time. Regularly review your growth by reflecting on what you learned and how you improved. This practice reinforces your progress and informs adjustments. Reflection turns experience into wisdom and fuels motivation. Surround yourself with people who value growth and discourage busyness. Supportive environments foster accountability and inspiration. They help maintain your focus when distractions arise. Balance action with rest to sustain energy for growth. Overworking leads to burnout, while proper rest rejuvenates the mind and body. Growth thrives in cycles of effort and recovery. Use setbacks as feedback, not failure. Learning to interpret challenges constructively accelerates growth and reduces stress. This mindset prevents the frantic rush to fix everything immediately. Celebrate milestones and progress. Acknowledging growth boosts confidence and reinforces commitment. It transforms effort into fulfillment. Avoid comparing your growth pace with others. Everyone's journey is unique. Focus on your own progress to maintain motivation and reduce pressure. Incorporate learning into everyday experience. Growth doesn't only happen in formal settings, but also through reflection on daily challenges and interactions. Simplify your schedule to focus on high-impact activities. Removing unnecessary busyness creates space for meaningful work and rest. Practice patience with yourself. Growth is a marathon, not a sprint. Steady effort over time yields profound transformation. Focus on growth brings clarity, calm, and purpose. It frees you from the trap of busyness and rushing. This shift empowers you to use your time wisely, develop resilience, and achieve lasting success. By valuing growth over mere activity, you craft a life of intention and fulfillment. Chapter 18. Cut out commitments that no longer serve you. Removing commitments that no longer serve your growth is a crucial step toward reclaiming your time and energy. Over time, responsibilities, obligations, and promises can accumulate in ways that clutter your schedule and distract you from your true priorities. Holding on to these outdated commitments creates unnecessary pressure and limits your ability to focus on what matters most. Identifying and cutting these ties requires honesty and courage, but leads to greater freedom and clarity. Begin by listing all the commitments in your life: professional, personal, social, and volunteer work. Seeing everything on paper or screen helps create a clear picture of your current load. This list might include regular meetings, projects, social groups, habits, or tasks you've agreed to but no longer feel aligned with. Next, assess each commitment critically. Ask yourself whether it contributes positively to your goals, values, and well-being. Does this commitment support your growth or drain your energy? Does it bring satisfaction, purpose, or joy? Or does it cause stress, distraction, or resentment? Your answers will help you determine which commitments are worth maintaining and which are not. Be aware that not all commitments carry the same weight. Some are essential and non-negotiable, such as family responsibilities or core job functions. Others are optional or negotiable, like social engagements or side projects. Focus your evaluation primarily on the latter. These are often the commitments that quietly consume your time without providing meaningful returns. Recognize that saying yes to everything creates a false sense of productivity, but leads to burnout and overwhelm. Learning to say no is a powerful skill that protects your boundaries and preserves your focus. Saying no respectfully and clearly is an act of self-respect and honesty, not selfishness. It allows you to devote yourself fully to the commitments that truly deserve your attention. Prepare to communicate your decision to reduce commitments with transparency and kindness. When declining, explain briefly that you are focusing on priorities that align better with your current goals. You don't owe detailed justification. Clear and polite communication maintains relationships while setting firm limits. Cutting commitments also involves letting go of habits and routines that no longer serve you. Some activities may have seemed beneficial at one point but have since become distractions. This could include excessive social media use, attending meetings out of obligation, or engaging in tasks that don't move you forward. Identifying these habits allows you to replace them with practices that better support your growth. Be mindful of emotional attachments to commitments. Guilt, fear of disappointing others, or desire to please can keep you tied to things that harm your well-being. Acknowledge these feelings without letting them control your choices. Remember that prioritizing yourself benefits everyone in the long run by enabling you to show up as your best self. Create space in your schedule for rest, reflection, and focused work by shedding unnecessary commitments. This newly freed time enhances your creativity, decision-making, and energy. It empowers you to say yes to opportunities aligned with your vision and goals. Monitor how removing commitments affects your mental and physical health. You may notice reduced stress, improved mood, and greater clarity. These benefits reinforce the importance of maintaining healthy boundaries in the future. Regularly revisit your list of commitments. Life changes, and so do your priorities. Making commitment review a habit prevents gradual overload and keeps your focus sharp. It allows you to adapt proactively rather than reactively. Cutting commitments is not about abandoning responsibility, but about conscious stewardship of your time and energy. It is a skill that requires practice, reflection, and confidence. Over time, it leads to a balanced life where your efforts match your intention. Recognize that letting go can sometimes bring discomfort or fear of missing out. These feelings are natural. They often signal growth and the need for change. Trust that making space creates opportunities for new and better aligned experience. Celebrate the courage it takes to say no and simplify your life. Each commitment you release is an investment in your personal growth and long-term success. It strengthens your ability to focus deeply and act decisively. By cutting out commitments that no longer serve you, you gain control over your time and energy. You reduce overwhelm and increase your capacity for meaningful work. This clarity supports resilience, creativity, and fulfillment. It frees you to live intentionally and pursue your highest priorities with commitment and joy. Make this practice part of your ongoing time management. Regularly evaluate your commitments and adjust accordingly. This habit ensures that your life remains aligned with your goals and values. Ultimately, simplifying your commitments allows you to create a life of purpose and balance. It opens space for what truly matters and nurtures your growth every day. This deliberate approach to managing obligations is a cornerstone of successful time mastery and meaningful living. Chapter 19. Make time for learning something new each day. Learning something new every day is a powerful habit that fuels growth, sharpens the mind, and expands your possibilities. Life is constantly evolving, and staying curious keeps you adaptable and engaged. By dedicating time daily to acquire fresh knowledge or skills, you cultivate a mindset of continuous improvement that sets successful people apart. This commitment does not require hours of study, but consistent, focused moments that accumulate into meaningful progress over time. To begin, identify areas of interest or skills that align with your personal or professional goals. Learning that connects to your aspirations creates motivation and relevance. It can range from mastering a practical skill, exploring a new subject, developing emotional intelligence, or understanding a different perspective. Having clear intentions helps you prioritize what to learn each day. Allocate specific moments in your daily routine for learning. This could be during your commute, morning coffee, lunch breaks, or before bed. Making learning a scheduled habit ensures it becomes part of your rhythm rather than an afterthought. Even brief sessions of 5 to 15 minutes contribute significantly when practiced consistently. Use a variety of learning methods to keep the process engaging and effective. Reading books, articles, or research papers enriches knowledge. Listening to podcasts or audiobooks allows absorption of ideas while multitasking or relaxing. Watching instructional videos or taking online courses provides visual and interactive experiences. Writing summaries or discussing what you learn deepens understanding and retention. Set realistic learning goals for each session. Focus on one concept or skill at a time to avoid overwhelm. Breaking down complex topics into manageable chunks makes learning achievable and satisfying. This approach also supports long-term mastery rather than superficial familiarity. Track your learning progress to maintain motivation and see growth. Keeping a journal, log, or digital note of what you learn each day creates a tangible record. Reflecting on this list regularly highlights your expanding knowledge and boosts confidence. It also reveals gaps or new interests to explore further. Be open to learning from diverse sources and viewpoints. Exposure to different cultures, disciplines, and opinions broadens your thinking and creativity. It prevents stagnation and enriches your problem-solving abilities. This openness fosters humility and adaptability, essential qualities for personal and professional success. Balance formal and informal learning. Formal education provides structure and depth, while informal experiences like conversations, observation, and experimentation offer practical insights. Both contribute uniquely to your development. Embrace learning opportunities in everyday life as well as planned study. Apply what you learn promptly. Putting new knowledge or skills into practice reinforces them and demonstrates their value. It turns passive information into active growth. Experimentation and real-world application also reveal areas needing refinement or further study. Encourage a growth mindset by viewing learning as a lifelong journey rather than a destination. Embrace challenges, mistakes, and setbacks as natural parts of this process. Persistence and curiosity sustain your commitment even when progress feels slow. Surround yourself with others who value learning and self-improvement. Engaging with like-minded individuals provides inspiration, accountability, and shared resources. Collaborative learning often sparks new ideas and accelerates growth. Limit distractions during your learning time to maximize focus. Create an environment conducive to concentration by minimizing noise, turning off notifications, and organizing materials. Deep attention enhances comprehension and enjoyment. Use questioning as a tool to deepen your learning. Asking why, how, and what if prompts critical thinking and connection making. This active engagement transforms passive reading or listening into meaningful exploration. Incorporate review sessions into your learning habit. Revisiting previous material strengthens memory and integrates knowledge. Spaced repetition and regular reflection improve long-term retention and understanding. Celebrate your learning milestones and progress. Acknowledge new skills acquired or concepts understood. Positive reinforcement encourages continued effort and builds confidence. Stay adaptable in your learning approach. As your interests, goals, and circumstances change, be willing to shift focus or methods. Flexibility ensures your learning remains relevant and enjoyable. Recognize the cumulative power of daily learning. Small, consistent efforts compound into significant knowledge and skill over time. This steady accumulation fuels innovation, problem-solving, and opportunity creation. Prioritize quality over quantity. Deep understanding of a few topics often surpasses shallow familiarity with many. Focused, deliberate learning yields greater impact on your growth. Balance learning with rest to avoid burnout. Mental recovery enhances creativity, focus, and retention. Integrate breaks and leisure to sustain your capacity for absorption and application. Use technology wisely to support your learning goals. Tools like apps, online courses, and digital libraries provide easy access to vast resources. Choose platforms that align with your preferences and learning style. Maintain curiosity by exploring new subjects or challenging existing beliefs. This openness drives intellectual growth and resilience in a changing world. Integrate learning into your daily conversations and activities. Sharing knowledge and discussing ideas reinforce your understanding and enrich social connections. Avoid comparing your learning pace to others. Everyone's journey is unique. Focus on your progress and enjoy the process. Reflect on how your daily learning contributes to your broader vision. This connection brings meaning and purpose to your efforts. Approach learning as a form of self-respect and investment in your future. Valuing your growth encourages discipline and enthusiasm. By making time for learning something new each day, you cultivate a mindset that embraces change and challenges. This habit enriches your life, sharpens your skills, and opens doors to opportunities. It is a powerful, actionable step toward continuous personal and professional development that keeps you moving forward with confidence and purpose. Chapter 20. Live each day with purpose. Not by reaction. Living each day with purpose means choosing your path actively rather than drifting in response to circumstances. When life feels chaotic, it's easy to react impulsively to events and demands, losing sight of what truly matters. Purpose anchors you to your values and long-term goals, providing clarity and direction. Acting with intention strengthens your resolve and helps you navigate challenges with calm and confidence. To live purposefully, start by defining what matters most to you. Reflect on your values, passions, and the impact you want to make. Clarify your vision for your life, including personal growth, relationships, career, and contribution. This foundation guides your daily decisions and actions. Design your daily routine around your purpose. Align activities with your priorities instead of allowing distractions or urgencies to dictate your time. This conscious scheduling fosters focus and meaningful progress. Purpose-driven days feel more fulfilling and less reactive. Practice mindfulness to stay present and aware of your intentions. When you notice reactive impulses, pause and ask if your response serves your purpose. This awareness breaks automatic patterns and invites thoughtful action. It also reduces stress caused by feeling out of control. Set clear boundaries to protect your purpose. Saying no to requests or activities that do not align with your goals preserves your energy and focus. Boundaries enable you to invest deeply in what matters, rather than spreading yourself thin. Use as a compass rather than a checklist. Purpose is about direction and growth, not just task completion. Regularly revisit your goals to ensure they reflect your evolving values and aspirations. Adjust as needed to keep your path relevant and inspiring. Cultivate resilience by accepting that setbacks are part of purposeful living. Challenges test your commitment and offer opportunities to learn. Responding with patience and problem-solving instead of frustration maintains momentum toward your purpose. Develop emotional discipline to manage reactions effectively. Strong emotions can cloud judgment and prompt impulsive decisions. Techniques like deep breathing, journaling, or talking with trusted mentors help regulate feelings and foster clarity. Engage in regular reflection to evaluate if your actions align with your purpose. Evening reviews or weekly check-ins provide insight into your progress and guide course corrections. Reflection reinforces intention and learning. Surround yourself with supportive people who respect your purpose. Community and accountability encourage consistency and offer encouragement during difficult times. Sharing your vision deepens connection and motivation. Embrace simplicity in your daily life to reduce noise and distractions. A clutter-free environment and clear priorities support purposeful focus. Simplification creates space for thoughtful action and creativity. Practice gratitude to deepen your connection with purpose. Appreciating what you have cultivates contentment and reinforces meaningful living. Gratitude shifts perspective from reaction to appreciation. Visualize your ideal day, rooted in purpose. Imagine how you would spend time, engage with others, and face challenges. Visualization prepares your mind to act in alignment with your vision. Take ownership of your choices and avoid blaming external circumstances. Purposeful living requires accepting responsibility for your path and reactions. Ownership empowers change and growth. Be patient with yourself as you develop purposeful habits. Change takes time and effort. Celebrate small steps and progress to build confidence and momentum. Integrate purpose into routine tasks by finding meaning in them. Even mundane activities support your larger goals when approached with intention. This mindset transforms ordinary moments into contributions toward your vision. Balance flexibility with commitment. Life's unpredictability requires adapting plans while maintaining core purpose. Flexibility prevents rigidity and supports resilience. Avoid overcommitting to avoid reactive stress. Focus on fewer meaningful engagements to preserve clarity and energy. Quality over quantity enhances purposeful impact. Use setbacks as signals to reassess and realign with purpose. Sometimes challenges indicate necessary change or growth areas. This perspective fosters constructive responses. Invest in self-care to sustain purpose-driven action. Physical, mental, and emotional health are foundations for consistent focus and energy. Celebrate alignment moments when your actions clearly reflect your purpose. These successes inspire continued commitment and satisfaction. Recognize that living with purpose is a daily practice rather than a final destination. Each day offers opportunities to choose intention over reaction anew. By choosing purpose over reaction, you reclaim control of your life. This intentional approach transforms chaos into clarity and stress into calm. Living with purpose empowers you to create meaningful progress and fulfillment. It builds resilience and joy by aligning your actions with your deepest values and goals.